Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm recording from one of my favorite local spots. You might hear some cars in the background, my bad. Anyways, so today we are going to be going over my personal year, how it's gone in the year 2025. Fun fact, this year in the Chinese zodiac is the year of the snake, apparently, which is interesting. Supposedly that represents like shedding old skins, which makes sense to me because I feel like I've shed a lot of old skins, metaphorically, not literally, obviously. But instead of like having a nice shiny new coat, I feel like raw. I feel like I'm just like all bloody. Like a bloody, gutsy snake. That's okay. I feel like I've gotten a lot of gray hair this year. This year low-key put me through the ringer, but you know what? That's okay. So we're gonna go over the lessons I've learned this year. I have my little notebook to help me out with this. Lessons I've learned, my goals for next year and years to follow, and what I am proud of, what I have accomplished, that sort of thing this year. Anyways, let's get into it. Lessons I have learned this year. This one's really important. Thinking that everyone knows how they have wronged you and will apologize to you is very self-centered and egotistical. Now, I have a very, very strong sense of justice, and this year I really learned that even if people know how to act, even if they know how they wronged you, that doesn't mean they're actually going to learn and change from it, or that they even care. To be honest, and thinking that everyone is going to change for the better, because of something they did to personally hurt you, is self-centered and egotistical. Not to say that that's necessarily a bad thing, to be self-centered and egotistical in that way, but I do think that maturity and getting older kind of helps you learn that. But I think in learning this about myself, that sometimes I am a little self-centered and egotistical because of this. I think that, like, what am I trying to say? It helps me realize that I am young, and it's okay to make mistakes while I'm young, right? Anyways, moving on. Enough of that. Next point of lessons I've learned. It is okay to not be quote-unquote locked in all the time, or to be so serious all the time about goals, situations, etc. Now, what do I mean by this? Obviously, it's cool to have your goals and to work hard to achieve those goals. Obviously, I think that's universally accepted on that should be encouraged. However, I think if I would have whatchamacallit, I say that phrase a lot in case you didn't notice. I think if I enjoyed the process more while I was trying to achieve these goals, enjoy little small moments in between, I wouldn't be so disappointed, or I wouldn't be, yes, I guess that's the word I'm looking for, disappointed, when I don't achieve that goal, or once I do achieve it and then I realize, what the F have I been working for? I've already achieved this, now what? Type of thing. I feel like if I just actually slow down a little bit, enjoy the process, and actually thought to myself, like, I do this a lot. It's the baby pose. If I actually, what was I saying though? Oh, if I actually thought more critically, or not thought, but like, actually slow down, enjoy the process, and thought about my goals in a more careful way. Not careful, that's not the right word. But if I wasn't so attached to the end goal, I think I would have enjoyed things more. Anyways, that's enough of that. Next point. Finding community is uncomfortable sometimes, but it is a fight worth fighting for. This one's important to me. When I mean finding community is uncomfortable, I mean that I have always struggled my entire life, for as long as I can remember, with vulnerability regarding my own personal feelings, especially like the not so fun stuff to talk about, like when I'm angry or sad, embarrassed, etc. So I think in trying to express myself, even when I'm not feeling awesome, when I'm not feeling 100%, turn that frown upside down type of way, that's what I mean when I say finding community is uncomfortable, meaning that in order to strengthen relationships and strengthen the community around you, you just have to be a little uncomfortable sometimes. Maybe uncomfortable isn't the right word, maybe inconvenienced, I don't know. But for me, I've discovered that is something worth doing for that sense of community. Okay, how am I doing on time? Okay, I have a timer just to make sure that I don't run out of time, because this camera only records so much. Anyways, goals for these coming years. This relates back to lessons I've learned. Strengthen my community. Find what it means for me. This year, I have found community through different, in different aspects of my life. Mainly through hobbies that I have developed. And I got a little taste of what it's like to have that strengthened sense of community, right? But, also in that though, I'm also autistic and I don't always do well in big group situations. So when people think of community, people often think groups of people, but that doesn't really work well for my brain all the time. So I'm trying to figure out what community means to me. How I can contribute to community, what I want a community to look like for me, yada yada yada. Anyways, next one, produce more than consume. AKA, get off the damn phone. I am very, very creative. I know that. Maybe I sound a little delusional, but I've discovered I am much more creative than I think, and I spend a lot of time on my fucking phone. On my phone. Wasting that. And I think I convinced myself, if I'm creatively uninspired, I just need to go on the internet, look for inspiration, look at other artists' stuff, and then I'll be inspired. No. So that's one of my goals. And also to just, on the topic of consumption, consume more wisely. I want to listen to more albums instead of just listening to a playlist where my Spotify playlists are just all my instant dopamine songs, right? If I listen to albums, watch entire movies, books, stuff like that, be a more conscious consumer. Another goal of mine is to dance more. I love to dance. I used to do it all the time in my room, and it really helped me express myself, feel confident with myself. I want to do it more. Okay. I got 10 minutes. Ish. And also, I didn't write this down, but another goal of mine is to stop comparing myself so often. Kind of give myself a little bit of a break. This is really common, I feel like, with people in their 20s. They're constantly comparing themselves to other people in their 20s. It's kind of a weird time, because you're not always established in your career. While some people are really established in their career, some people are, like, having kids, getting married. Meanwhile, I feel like, oh, I gotta log on to Discord to make sure I don't miss, like, friend game night. But you know what? All those things have value. And I feel like if I just didn't compare myself so much, I would be a lot happier. And also, I need to realize that I really, in this day and age, we should not really be having this much access to each other, in my opinion, with social media and crap. I guarantee you, I wouldn't know at least, like, half the people I know who got married. I wouldn't know that if I just, like, didn't have a phone. Anyways, moving on to what I am proud of for this year. I stayed consistent in the gym. Now it's a little bit different. I just have a different situation going on. But for a long time, I stayed consistent in the gym, which is really important to me. Because when I was younger, like, in my teenage years, I want to say, yeah, I loved being active, loved working out, all these things, and then something happened in my college span where, like, a very life-altering event where I went through something, and I just avoided doing anything to feel like I was in my own body for a while. If you've ever watched Neon Genesis Evangelion, where those kids have to sync up to those robots to operate the robots, and it's because it's synced to their nervous system. It's a really good show, by the way. You guys should watch it. Where these kids, they're connected to the robots, but the robots aren't them. Kind of thing, and they look at themselves and they have identity crises because when they look in the mirror, do they see the robot or do they see themselves? Type of thing. That's kind of the best way I can describe what I went through. But I've healed since then a lot, and I'm really proud of myself for that. I quit nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. And, sorry, I was just checking the time. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. I used to vape all the time. And then I quit vaping. And then I picked up smoking cigarettes. And then I put them down. And then I picked them back up again. But I'm quitting for good. I don't need it. It's a fucking waste of money. It's a waste of money. Next one, I became more vulnerable with my feelings and trusting others. Again, this is something I've struggled with for a long time. But I think I'm really proud of myself for being able to open myself up back again. And I've been rewarded, and I've found some really good friends and really good people who have received my vulnerability well. I believed in myself more physically, mentally, emotionally. Yeah, my self-esteem used to be, like, on the fucking floor. And now it is better. Little by little, it's getting better. Next one. I didn't give up. Enough said. Next one. I like this. I wasn't afraid to fail. And a teacher once taught me that failing can be an acronym that stands for first attempt in learning. And I really like that. Also, I'm done with my bachelor's degree, pretty much. But this relates. I decided to go back to school, actually, because when I was going through something really bad in college, my grades went, and my GPA went, and I want to fix that. So I ponied up and I decided that I'm gonna go back to try to retake those classes. Fix my mistakes for when I failed. It was just my first attempt in learning, though. And there's a part of me that really wants to beat myself up over that. But there's the other part of me that's just really positive that's thinking, hey, well, at least I'm giving myself a chance. You know, I believe in myself enough to try again. And I think it'll be better for me in the long run, because there's like programs I want to apply to that require you to have like a good GPA. It's like that song by Taylor Swift. I don't really like her music, but I like her song, This Is Me Trying. Also, I like the song Sidelines by Phoebe Bridgers. There's this one line where she says, I'm not afraid of going back to school, or something like that. I love my girl Phoebe. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for tuning in to this video if you watched it. Cool beans.